It's Monday, May 2nd, 2022. I'm Jonathan Lau, and this is 5 Minutes of Proof, a weekly analysis of the science behind ozone therapy. Today, we're going to take a look at an article entitled High Efficacy of Ozonated Oils in the Removal of Biofilms Produced by Methicillin-Resistant Staphylococcus aureus, or MRSA, that's a little easier, from infected diabetic foot ulcers. This was accepted into the Journal of Molecules in 2020. And I'm interested in this because, in particular, we actually have at O3 Vets and Honest O3 some new products coming out, some new ozonated oil products. And I wanted to take a look at exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it. So let's jump in. Let's see how you can use these things and how they might benefit or not benefit certain areas of infection. Ozone has a high wound healing capacity and antibacterial properties and can be used as a complementary treatment in infections. So that's what they have to say here. Now, there is going to be some information as we go through here that shows that it's more effective or less effective depending on the particular bacteria being treated. So ozone does not have a cytotoxic effect. On the contrary, it induces fibroblast migration, aiding the wound healing process. I think that's significant because something like hydrogen peroxide actually is cytotoxic, so it damages cells. And we see with ozone, that's not the case. Ozone, when used properly, actually has the opposite effect. Ozone blocks the enzymatic function, though, of bacteria by oxidating glycoproteins and glycolipids. Once established, so what is MRSA, biofilms, all that stuff? MRSA biofilms are refractory to antimicrobial and immune host responses, becoming almost impossible to eradicate. They go through and they talk here about MRSA and biofilms and what you can expect and what they are, how they work. We're not going to go into all of that. I do want to show you this chart, though, because they ozonated olive oil and sunflower seed oil at different times for different amounts of time. None of them terribly long, actually, and resulting in peroxide values that are lower than normal in a lot of the products or ozonated oils that you'll see on the market. So I just wanted to highlight that because I thought it was interesting and maybe helpful for us. And we'll talk about why. So oils containing lower concentrations of ozone were also able to inhibit the growth of 2 MRSA and 5 MRSA, respectively. So depending on the different types, again, it was able to inhibit the growth of those things, even at lower concentrations. So that's significant because there's all this talk about fully ozonated oils. Well, fully ozonated means a lot of things, or it could mean a variety of things. And the point is that having a product that's 100% ozonated oil does not necessarily mean that it's better. Higher concentration, higher strength does not necessarily mean better. So we just need to keep that in mind. The peroxide value represents an essential measurement to establish the therapeutic dose in vegetable oils, as it measures the quantity of the main products of vegetable oil ozonation, which are trioxylanes and peroxides. So what's important here? Knowing that these oils are quality controlled. And so being able to show what the peroxide value of an oil is, not just the peroxide capabilities of that oil, or the levels that it can reach, but the actual amount of peroxides in the oil shows that it's quality controlled and that we know exactly what we're putting on the skin. In general, the content of identified unsaturated fatty acids in oil decreased with the increase of ozonation time, and consequently the peroxide value increases. So you have a decrease of unsaturated fatty acids and an increase of peroxides in each oil. And you know what that leads to is actually a more viscous material, a more viscous substance. So you'll see that the oils actually get thicker as you ozonate them longer. We're going to skip past that. So one of the things that was noted was that the oils had a better efficacy against MSSA than MRSA. And so that's important. We'll note that not every infection, and we're talking about difficult infections to cure oftentimes, but not everyone is as effective or affected by ozone as another. Ozone appears to be an alternative to conventional antimicrobials and disinfectants. A study conducted with a chronic wound infection model to investigate the efficacy of wound care products against Staphylococcus reported that ozonated olive oil had by far the highest activity against biofilms. Okay, but not only that, but you can actually use ozonated saline or ozonated water against these biofilms as well. And I think that's important when we're looking at other types of treatments beyond just the oils that we can use both topically and maybe for things like mastitis, etc. So the ozonation of vegetable oils leads to a decrease in the amount of unsaturated fatty acids and an increase in peroxide values. Ozonated oils show a high activity against both MRSA or MSSA and MRSA strains isolated from DFUs, diabetic foot ulcers, showing a MIC value around 4.24. So that's kind of a mid to low kind of strength oil. The high capacity of ozonated oils to remove MRSA and MSSA biofilms, their action of planktonic bacterial cells, and their described safety features make ozonated vegetable oils a promising alternative to the current antibiotics and disinfectants. So this has been 5 Minutes of Proof. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next week.